Today's review will include 5 products, including Third Reality's motion sensor, their contact sensor, their leak sensor, their smart switch, and a really new product in their smart blinds. About 2 months ago, I took some of Third Reality's products out of a box on a video, and I was surprised at how many of you came back right away and wanted to know more. That is, until I started using them. Hello Automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and I'm going to do just that by introducing you to Third Reality, whose budget smart home products have seemingly come out of nowhere over the past 2 years. As I said, I took all of these out of a box on another video, and you all asked for a review, so I reached out to Third Reality and told them you wanted it and asked them to sponsor it. They did that, which means I get to keep doing this for a living, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. But it also means that Third Reality gave me a coupon code to pass on to you, so hooray! Today's review will include 5 products, including Third Reality's motion sensor, their contact sensor, their leak sensor, their smart switch, and a really new product in their smart blinds. All 5 of those products require what's called a Zigbee hub, and each product works with a different set of hubs that you probably have in your home already. So as you see which Zigbee hubs work with these devices, understand that using Zigbee can sound scary, but it keeps your Wi-Fi clear of extra devices. And for all of these products, it's very important that they use a technology like Zigbee because that keeps the battery usage very low, because yes, they are all battery powered by AAA batteries. Now let's say at the end of today's video you start to narrow down on a couple of products from Third Reality, and let's say that you don't have one of those Zigbee hubs. The good news is you can purchase Third Reality's Zigbee hub that they make themselves. Then you can connect them to Amazon or Google's voice assistants and SmartThings. The shirt that you can buy and that I'm wearing today says that if you can't sense something, then you can't automate it. This is something I learned a very long time ago when I was automating industrial facilities, and it's true in your home too. That's why I was so interested in the motion, contact, and the leak sensors from Third Reality. Of course, they each sense different things, but there are some consistencies between them. You'll find them a little larger than some of their counterparts because they're powered by AAA batteries that are intended to give you up to 2 years of battery life. Now I'm finding that if they're in a heavy use situation that you're going to get about a year to a year and a half, but that 2 years could be a low estimate if you're not using them heavily. The warranty is 1 year on them all, and temperature ranges and overall designs keep these indoors. They all have the same casing and generally just have an off-white color to them. But that's where the similarities end, and we start to see some really important features on each of them that makes them distinctive versus competitors. When I read that the motion sensor had a range of 30 feet and at an angle of 120 degrees, I didn't believe it would be capable of that. Now it should be noted that for any motion sensor, when it gives a range like that, it doesn't mean it's 30 feet out to the side at 120 degrees or 60 degrees out from each side. It's straight out and then you have a decline off to the sides. However, I found that this motion sensor could see closer to 150 degrees, and it definitely followed a 20 to 30 foot distance straight out. Any trigger of motion detection showed up in all of my hubs within about half a second. The cooldown is nice and short at 30 seconds, and automations ran reliably. In fact, I don't think this motion sensor ever failed when I expected it to detect motion. One note for SmartThings users is that all of the Third Reality products currently connect to SmartThings as a cloud device, but I expect that to change very soon and have even read that there's a coming change through the Edge driver program. Still, even as a cloud device, it was, for all intents and purposes, perfect. Within SmartThings, you had all of the expected automation options for a motion sensor, and you have the battery monitor as well as motion detection available. In Amazon, you just get the motion detection to start routines with, but I found automations running as quick as I would expect with a Zigbee sensor within Amazon. Overall, this is a great sensor, especially when you consider the budget pricing, as long as you can handle that physical footprint. That's exactly same for the contact sensor, which I found would change from open to close at about 1.5 inches. It was again entirely accurate and played well even when being used through repeaters on my SmartThings Zigbee network. It has all of the expected automation options, again in SmartThings, with access to both the sensor status and the battery, and can run routines with Amazon, so it's exactly what's expected. The leak sensor is a bird of a different feather. It supposedly loses the ability to connect with Amazon Zigbee hubs, but I got it done and it appeared as a motion sensor in there. I managed to do this with both an Echo 4th generation and an Eero 6 Plus, but Third Reality tells me that the official method to get it integrated with Amazon is through their Zigbee hub. What's exciting about bringing this sensor into Amazon is whether you do it directly or with the Third Reality hub, I could start routines with this leak sensor, as when it got wet, it said motion was detected. I will tell you this took me about 5 tries to get it paired directly, but it's worth that effort since there are so few options for leak sensors in the Amazon app. It also features an option for you to install what Third Reality considers their high sensitivity leads. That makes it easier for the sensor to trigger. That's because with its larger footprint, you have to get enough water on the ground to connect one of the bottom leads to the top leads. So I'd recommend you just install those high sensitivity leads always. In SmartThings, again, we are left with the expected options for automations, and we get both the sensor status and the battery status again. Automations worked as expected, and I liked that it cleared very quickly with that hub. I think the most exciting product in Third Reality's lineup are the new smart blinds, but there are some caveats to this product and whether or not it will work in your home. The pricing is fantastic, and these smart blinds line up really close to what IKEA is giving you for pricing and in terms of features. The limitations are what I'm going to start with because that's the quickest way to stop you from watching my video, so I've decided, very poorly, I'm going to tell you when to go. So just understand that I'm sacrificing myself for your benefit, and I think you should keep watching, if just for that reason. Anyways, the big issue with the blinds is the sizing range for the width of the window that you can cover with these. The other big limitation is that you're going to get about 6 months of battery life out of those smart blinds before you gotta change it. Otherwise, I was incredibly impressed with the quality of material, and understand, I'm not someone who works with blinds and materials like this all the time, but they feel like they're going to last for a very long time, and they're built in a way that I think a little bit of dirt or a little bit of childlike fingers like mine will not ruin them immediately. The installation process was well laid out in the manual, and it was really easy for even someone as horrible as I am at home renovations to complete in under half an hour. The automation options are what you would expect from a set of blinds, or at least what I expect, and I like that within SmartThings I was able to set a preset position, so it's not just controlling by percentage, but you get one of these little extra preset positions that you can kind of send it back to at any time. The included remote is long, and it needs to be pointed at the controller portion of the blinds, which for me ended up being tucked behind a door. But it's an IR receiver on the blind, so you can actually use that as another control method for these blinds if you have something like a SwitchBot or Flick Hub or a Broadlink blaster. There is one problem that I ran into with these, and I think it's important to mention. When you first install them, there's this little ingenious sensor at the bottom of the blinds. It's intended to let you calibrate where the bottom is because they are very long and you probably won't use the entire length of these blinds. But I made what I think is going to be a pretty common mistake with these, and something you definitely want to be aware of. See, I just thought I would press the little up button on the blinds themselves because you have 3 buttons there, but the up button starts a calibration process, so I had undone the initial calibration that I did during install. It was easy to fix, just be aware that the on-device buttons can mess with your initial calibration. The last product I'm going to talk about today is the Third Reality Smart Switch, and I think all of these products work really well within a rental situation, like I'm in, but this is the one that I think works the best that way. That's because what this essentially is something that you place over an existing light switch, and then it will press the switch for you. It will work with my style of light switches or the toggle style, and it's just a physical piece of movement happening inside of Third Reality's product that does this. I have again been really impressed with the fact that it works every time, but it did take some extra effort to get this calibrated quite right during install. What I noticed when I went to place this over my light switches is that the specific one I wanted to use was a little uneven top to bottom. So it was a little more depressed into the wall at the top than it was at the bottom of the switch. And Third Reality gives you some extra spacers to help combat the different depths your switch will be installed at. In general, they tell you to use one side on the top and the same size on the bottom, but every time I tried that, my specific switch was not working, whether it was going up or going down. So in the end, I had to use a couple of different sizes of those spacers to get the install right. All of this to tell you that it might take a little bit of playing to get it calibrated just right on your switch. The automation options are really fantastic though. Although it should be noted that you don't see the battery status in this device within SmartThings, and it does make a little bit of noise like this. So I won't be placing it in my bedroom. From an overall perspective though, this is an incredibly good budget lineup of smart home Zigbee products, and I hope to see Third Reality continue to come out with more products in this lineup. I also hope that if you are narrowing down on a couple of products, that you use the coupon code down below that have been provided for this video. Those, alongside the links that we provided, will help you take advantage of even better prices on what's already a pretty good budget lineup. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, and of course, don't hate, automate.